generations changing narratives surrounding it, and you can see some differences, trust me.
I think that's the beauty about our generation, like coming on, we have a lot of progressive minds.
Let we mold the next bosses, the bosses of tomorrow. Everybody could be a leader.
Environment is very important. Who you surround yourself with is very important.
But once we all recognize that the only way to go is forward and up, think that that mentality is what will spiral a next generation of success for us and greatness.
I've been around track and field since forever. Basically, I was running since I'm small. I think everybody does that. Just run up and down on the road outside, playing, etc. And it was when I was in secondary school, because I went to Convent, Kingston, when Coach Oliver, Michael Oliver.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mossy?
Yeah, Mossy, yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, he's quite famous. So he kind of spotted me there. He came back from Jamaica because he spent several years in Jamaica coaching. So he came back with the intention of building track and field in St. Vincent. At that time, there was not necessarily a lot of big names. Maybe everybody knew like Paminas and Kiniki, but it was rather dead. So he came back with that purpose just to kind of
rejuvenate.
Rejuvenate it, as you said. From before he spotted me, but there was a lot of difficulties in terms of getting to training because I was living on Leeward End. Training was Annisville, so money-wise, everything else. But when I got to college, it was much easier coming to college. Just go training and then go home afterwards from that. And I think he opened a lot of doors and just changed a different mindset. Because I never initially had the thought that I could run and go college, go and compete in the NCAA, etc., which is kind of a big deal. Right. So for a lot of us who were training, we were older. We were like older kids, so like from 4, 5, and even in college. But now we have young kids coming up through, so that's much better. So he kind of gave us like, you guys can actually go outside and compete out of St. Vincent, right? You don't have to limit yourself here. So initially, we kept training, and then in 2017, that's when I got a scholarship to compete in the U.S. There was also several athletes. Kimori went away, Shafika. There's a project we have in St. Kitts. So it's an extension. Our club is that academy, and we have an extension in St. Kitts. So we send female athletes. We have a coach over there, Coach Janice Daly. She's doing a pretty good job. She was initially the first person with that project, and she coached Shafika from about Farm 3, I think. She was doing Thomas Sanders, and then she coached her from there. And, well, the rest is, I guess, it's history after that. So we have that extension where we help athletes who might not have it here as they would like. So far, we've had Shafika, who went from that. We have another athlete, Zaria, who went to Benedict. And now we have Tyra. She's now going off to LA Tech University. So there's a continuation going on for that.
There's like a movement.
But as you guys know, the main thing is support. That monetary support is needed. Right, we have the coaches, but that additional support is always needed. And we're eventually looking to have it continue and have more girls go out over to St. Kitts and have access to an education as well, and then eventually go off to college. That's the goal.
Obviously, you're the track coach or assistant track coach at that. I mean, you could tell me which one is assistant or main coach. I don't know.
I'm the assistant.
But how is it for you in your role supporting the female athletes, especially on their journeys, having been one of those who needed the support when you were younger?
So I would say when I finished college, when I came back, my goal was I went to coaches. I coach wherever you need me, I'm here. Because I realized that we have so many talent here and we could do much better. And if I could at least speak to one female or speak to one athlete and be like, what, I did it. You can go off and go to college. You don't have to go to the pro level, but you could still make something of yourself.
Yeah, exposure.
Definitely.
Yeah, you get definitely exposure. You can get access to basically like a free education if you're getting a full scholarship. Right, but you kind of leave that small-minded mentality that we have here and then you go off, and then you know you see the
Progressive now.
right.
I'm trying to find the progressive pathways. No,
Exactly.
100%.
I think that's the beauty about our generation, like coming on. We have a lot of progressive minds.
And exposure too.
Exposure and
But we create our exposure too, though.
That's
So
the thing.
like, it's not a case where they want to sit down and not do things. So like, how she is literally creating spaces for people to like progress. Like a lot of people do that in different fields in some extent right now.
I think what we
Our
need
generation.
is more mentors. I think that's what's needed. We need more mentors, and you don't have to have necessarily an age to be a mentor.
Yeah.
You don't have to be 40 and 50 to be a mentor. You just have to at least have experience and be mindful of what you're saying too, because words are powerful. Because, right, even the music the kids listen to sometimes is like, don't. But if you have something to share it, don't hold it to yourself. So when I came back, I was like, you know, if just sharing my story could help one athlete.
Yep.
That's it.
That's the thing, because once the platform is there for them to say, okay, access this opportunity or access this particular route, you could see a pathway for you. You still actually need people to support you. I mean, yeah, we talk about the financial support, but you need somebody to actually kind of be there
Definitely.
with you along
System
the
and
different
everything.
steps, along the different
It only
milestones
gets
to
better,
make
you
sure
know.
that you could.
Yeah, it does, it does.
Doing it on your own, yeah, you can make it to a certain extent.
But you need the support and you need the
you
help
get
elsewhere.
verification,
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
to make it better, something you miss.
Yeah, we
they
human
can find
beings.
it, you know?
Yeah,
Human
together.
we do need people, but a lot of people think that they don't need people to succeed. But you do need the support and people around
Trust me, because like with certain things that you're doing, you're going to have different levels that you're going to get to, and like you say, you don't actually need to get to the pro level to be
Right.
successful. But then that would be, you know, where most people would have their focus to say, okay, I'm trying to get there. But the thing is, you still need a grouping of people around you to actually push you to that next phase. And
Support
I feel like that's what has been missing for a few, I don't want to really say generations, but a number of years of people where you feel like the potential was there for you know, to
more.
achieve more.
I've
Like
seen
we
that.
know, we recognize that in so many different fields, like we have talent, we have potential is there, but like
People gifted here.
there's a lot
across the board.
Trust me,
Right, true.
I've especially in the capacity that I'm working in now, like I've met a lot of different people that it gives me that energy that things can happen, but at the end of the day, we need that involvement and we need to support each other. We need to work
Right.
together a lot more to actually make these
Just
things
to
happen.
add to that point, environment is very important. Who you
100%.
surround yourself with is
like-minded
very
individuals,
important.
for sure.
I had teammates, like all of us had the same mission. We wanted to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we were motivating each other, like, come on, you know, when it's tough, you need something, you need an extra voice to be like, come on, let's go. we got it.
It's
Right,
funny,
so it has
it's
to be.
funny how I mention like surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, because a lot of people do think that because I do that, I being selfish apparently. But to be honest, I can't talk to people that don't understand where I'm
you're
coming
coming
from.
from and what you're trying to
Therefore, I
do.
would be friends with more people that know what I'm doing
Yeah,
and
they
doing what
understand,
I
like
want
you
to do.
said.
Because a lot of people in your circle would know you from when you first started out on this journey. 'Cause I mean,
Exactly.
we were around the same age, so I remember you know, always posting up and
Yeah,
dancing
people don't
or
realize
how long-
that this
how
is like
fast is it?
before I
You've
even
been
tried.
consistent.
I've been very consistent.
and they know you now, and they see you now, but
And they
it's like
swear they know.
And they think they know everything, but they didn't see the hours, the darkness. Like I say, it's what happens in the
Yeah.
darkness is what.
Yeah,
they
and
bring
that's
to
just what
light.
we're saying now.
Yeah.
With all of that hard work that you've put in now on that journey, for you now to get to that next level, you still are going to need that support, and that's
Yeah,
why
you
exactly
do.
you need to be around people that have the
you
same
like,
idea, that have the
understand
same
you.
energy and understand
And
what
people
it is
don't
that you're
get
trying to
that.
create.
Like people think that quote unquote the rich just be around the rich because you know they're trying to stay rich. But at the same time, it's a case where the rich probably have the rich mindset.
It's fair. But
In
yeah.
the sense of like business wise. Let me not say rich.
not wealth wise,
no,
but
no.
you know,
But
sort of
like-
progression.
Wealth in terms of knowledge. I
Yeah.
think knowledge is a
Yeah,
key.
once you
And I
know
think-
that you can do it, it's easier for you to be around people
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
want
You don't
to work
want
towards the same.
energy you don't want anybody to disrupt your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want anybody to come and give you, if you have a goal and you set your goal and you're around people who tell you, yeah, you can make it, you might make it 3 weeks earlier than you plan to. Opposite, 6 months later,
Naturally.
the energy, people affect the energy.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
But
be
it's
careful.
also, it's important to not have yes men.
Oh my
People
gosh,
who,
yes.
who could tell
You
you
still need
like they
support,
feel and
but you
stick
still
it
need
to you.
people that
You know
will
what?
be
Yeah,
able
that's
to
true.
tell you when you're doing
Stick it to
wrong.
you.
I think one of the biggest things right now that
Might have bite my
Like
tongue
I
and I
said,
yes.
as a next gen of visionaries is to keep each other accountable. So, you know, anytime you see somebody saying or maybe falling behind on the goals, or like, you know, you learn other people's goals, you know where you want to see yourself, you're soccer, you know where they want to see yourself. So you are now responsible for making sure that that person gets to, you know,
Where they
see,
wanna go?
once a team, you know, one team, as I keep saying, and Vinci, if we have one team, there's 110,000 people in St. Vincent. You
Supposedly.
understand? The world's so big outside.
Supposedly.
Well, yes.
Decline.
supposedly.
I say we have a population constraints, you know.
They want that
Let me
recorded.
say, you understand? But still, it's a real small number. So, in order for us to be able to reach on a level where we can impact change, not just locally, but regionally and globally,
We have to
we
do it
gotta
together.
join. You understand?
Oh, trust.
Realize that each of us set goals, you know, respect other people's goals. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has their own journey. So most of the time, all right, let me say, like, I know Shane the longest out of everybody here. He is a man, if I can't find him, I know he busy, and
Working.
that is just it. If he can't find me, there's no pressure. You need people around you who,
Understanding.
in the hard
understanding.
times, they have that understanding, as you say. You don't want nobody to pressure you. You already know what's going on. Everybody how it goes. Everybody have what they have to go on. Because at the end of the day, it's only you can do it for yourself.
Trust me.
Quickly want to touch because of the youth development aspect. You know, you're on it right now, you understand? So, you know, Browne's Initiative is a program that we would have founded a few years ago, you understand? And this now is like
Yeah, 3
us
right now.
be
Proud of
yeah,
you,
true. You know, so I want you to just go into depth about like your experience in school in Jamaica, UTech, like how that would have molded your mindset to say, you know, I need to bring this back to St. Vincent, internships, get the internship landscape going, because
At the school level.
yeah, at the school level, because we spoke about sports and how sports could, but you know, the professional world, you know, it needs some sort of guidance, the mentorship in professional world. So
It all started, say, 5 years ago, a summer. Cape results just come back. I had already
Cape
knew
boy, big up Cape.
what I was going to do, right? And that was just based off a business, family, you know. I had to pull my weight. But I could have done all sorts of different things. My father was dead stuck, research quantity surveying. Whole time I just telling him, yeah, I ain't studying him. I just, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, everything's safe. Until the day now I tell him I want to do something else, and this man chip off on me. I was like,
your parents expect
I was
plenty
like,
for sure.
that was like that was like the first moment where like, he don't really talk much, but he was like, yo, listen.
He's a wise fella.
When you go school, you need to do something that you know, at least when you come back, you're going to make some money, and you could start to create some wealth, do something. I listened to him, boy, I say I gotta trust the process.
Yeah, that's the thing. Trust the
Roll out,
process.
school now, I didn't understand nothing in the first year. First year I was like trying to catch myself. I wasn't comfortable, nothing.
Yeah.
Different environment.
My room, I ain't accustomed to the whole shared space, like the kitchen and the,
Yeah, nobody does talk about them kind of
that,
you know.
that you
I
think
wasn't accustomed
different.
to that. I had my own bathroom, but like, so at least I could get a breeze there. But man, I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't really studying. I been just trying to figure out what's going on. So like first year I did terrible. It was, and I say, all right, study nothing. I had this mindset, boy, I go come back and go work in a restaurant. It was. I don't tell myself so. But I say, boy, I can't work, so. If you know my brother's very smart. So
Engineering now.
I just have to be, the man just watch me as the outcast. Like,
Black sheep fully.
When they compare ways, I was like, why you don't be like your brother? Because he born 98. It was with different people. It was. He born 98. I born 2000. Nothing but we just different people.
Hold on.
No, we just different. We just different.
Byron say man back from the 90s. They'll be hitting on the 90s.
That my boy, yeah, trying to figure out if he's calling me old.
Nah, no lies. No, nah. We just think, but like, so I say, with second year, all right, buck ups. I stay home, you know, I find ways to get comfortable, and I just study. I mash up the place.
Lock in.
And then that is when I say, boy, I see where he coming from. I had to go on an internship. So when I go on an internship, that is where I...
That's
get
in
the
Jamaica,
whole-
right?
Yeah, the idea for Browne's initiative.
Oh, nice.
They had sent me to a firm, big up MDG, Markland Garden and Associates. This man, it's a serious guy. He trained me. I was already knowing the theory because I studied it. So when I go out in the field now, the other intern, he was more practical. So we used to get along good. You know, he go show me how to do it.
But you tell him what.
And I go tell him what to do, how to refine it. So we get along good. So I learn real things. And then after that, the man start to realize, boy, I catching it. They wanted to keep me. So throughout the internship, the man, I used to be going all over the place, build relations, do what I could do here. And I say, boy, if I was able to do something like this, say like secondary school, I would have been more prepared for when I came out. I would have touched the floor running. So I said, boy, all right, I think St. Vincent, who I could link up with, I was thinking who I could check to see if I could help out somebody who had something going on. But then, nothing been really floating. That was like catching my interest to say, yeah. So I said, all right, start my own thing. Check grammar school, I tell them, give me 5 students. I say, I'm going to carry them out, teach them some stuff, link them up with small business owners who I know.
Make the dots connect.
Make the connection.
Yeah.
Shout Shane. Shane say, boy, I love this.
Fully.
If we is a vehicle, that is the engine, I mean the gearbox. So, he does just go up. He could accelerate. And I just say,
Big you up,
hit them now.
You're not going
You know,
ready still, bro.
that's how it does work.
Yeah.
And then we walk, and then Shane started to say, boy, all right, we had a go long-term planning.
Growth is your mindset.
Check, we say, all right, start delegate, Bossy jump in the stream, Jaden jump in, plenty other people jump in there, Leslie, Page. So we're growing, we went from 5 or 10 to 27.
Oh, nice.
And then this year we had 35.
Excellent.
I mean, if any small businesses watching here, please
Come on,
tap in, you know, for
Promotion right now.
2025, you know, make yourself available because we have a lot of students coming too.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's teamwork. So it's like you want to be able to have a system in St. Vincent where corporate St. Vincent sees the vision of like youth development. So let's bring on 2 persons when we have time and
Let
strength. You know what I
mold
mean?
the next bosses,
Yeah.
the bosses of
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Definitely.
Everybody could be a leader. Once everybody is a leader, I mean, everybody thinks independently, and there's no, you say you don't like yes man, that is a serious problem, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't feel like anybody who calls themselves educated should sit down and just say, okay,
Yeah.
you know,
Without questioning it.
without questioning
Yeah,
it. There are
yeah.
some situations where, you know, something might seem off. You gotta question it.
Definitely.
And if when you ask a question, your question is not respected, then you just have to
Do
do
your
your own
research.
risk analysis.
Yeah, do
you
your
know?
research.
You gotta know if you could swing with that on your own and bear the grains, or we're gonna come with that. Other than that,
To just add to your point, I think a lot of people don't have values. If you ask somebody, what do you value? I don't know. A lot of people don't have values. But if you're somebody who have values, like if you value integrity, you won't be a yes man. Because anyhow somebody comes with you with something that goes against what you value, feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, you'll tell them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't have
Stagnant.
values and they don't have standards for themselves. So you just go with the flow. And that's a big issue. You
I think
have
everybody
to
here
have
holds
values.
himself to a very high standard.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of going off, continuing that point of support groups and surrounding yourself with the right people. You would have formed or been part recently of the formation of the AVSA.
Oh yeah.
So,
Going out into the wild world and having different experiences sometimes is all it takes to kind of like open your eyes to a particular experience. Next year, I'll actually be celebrating 10 years in and around music. Well,
Nice. Okay.
and the thing is, like my experience in music in Vinci has been very, very interesting in terms of like being a soca artist. I like music. I grew up playing pan and them kind of things. So the music side of things is something that I've always been interested in. And like people that know me more as an artist would know that I do other things outside of soca. But like as a young person, I've just always had this feeling that, you know, we could do more, we could do better, we could work together, we could incite change. I've always, I guess it comes back to what you were saying about values, right? I was raised with that type of values too, you know, to be an engine for change. And one of my favorite quotes I've always seen all over social media, y'all probably know it, be the change you want to see in the world. And I just kind of let that guide my philosophy. I don't like to criticize something or complain about something or, you know, critique something or say, oh, this is where something could be better. I'm not involved in actively making that better. So also on the music side of things or in terms of the soca industry in St. Vincent, it's again what we've been talking about for the time. There's so much talent. There's so much potential here in terms of what Vincentians can create. And for me, coming from a different type of socioeconomic background, I recognize that talent is one of the things that can change the lives of people that live in third world countries, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Rihanna is one of the biggest
Yo,
stars, and she
is
grew up
literally my
30 minutes
blueprint.
away from me.
I can't
You
sing.
understand? And that
can't
has been my
sing.
mindset to think. She
Yeah.
lived 30 minutes away. I mean, it's a plane ride, but it's 30 minutes away.
Correct.
Right? And that is at the largest end of the spectrum. All right, now we come back down again. St. Vincent has produced consistently from way back to now people that have been involved on a high level in terms of the contributions that they've made to soca, changing and driving the culture forward and all those sorts of things. And it came through working together, through being there for each other and supporting each other. So the association is really born out of that experience as artists, the struggles that we go through individually, collectively, all of the different things that we face in terms of not just the problems or the issues, but in terms of learning, in terms of growing, supporting and ushering in the new generation, protecting the culture and all of these things. Those are experiences that we've had, and it's an association that's been formed by the artists, for the artists. Now, obviously, we know there's a lot of different issues in and around music, entertainment, and so on. And when I say issues, I don't mean, again, problems, but just things that represent potential for change or potential for growth. And in every other area in Vinci right now, we see that, okay, there's gears that are turning in terms of people want to do more, we want to get involved more, and that's really where we are going. And for me, recognizing where I am is probably because of the job I'm doing right now, I'm lecturing, professionally speaking. I feel very responsible for those that are coming. Even though personally, you know, I still consider myself a young person. And sometimes when people look at me and be like, oh yeah, you're an adult, I'm like, you sure? You are? You know,
Adult is tough.
you sure? Because I don't feel very adulty sometimes. I just pay the bills and I just pay the tax and
Technically,
thing.
we're
But
in our teenage years of
yeah, you know.
adulting.
And I just always say, COVID and suffer teeth like a 2-3 years from me. So, you know, I still flex it a little bit. But at the same time, I feel very responsible for like, okay, when somebody, let's say at the college, a student comes up to me and be like, sometimes I just be shy because Utamu and Bongo Prime is two different people, and I try to have that separation of life as much as possible. So when I'm there, I'm Mr. Rose. You understand? And that's how I kick it. But I do have people, you know, come to me and they're like interested in, they want to learn about it and so on. And for me, yes, I'm actively trying to accomplish my goals and I'm actively trying to get to a certain point in music for myself,
Right.
I also feel responsible for helping that person out because, like I said, next year is 10 years I in this thing. 2015, when me and the brethren who somewhere backstage here behind the camera did our very first song, we was fresh out of college the year before. And
Nice.
while we were in college, we was in organizations like PASS, performing at things like drama
I
festival
love PASS for
and
that
music
because
festival
they actually
and all
keep
of these
these
things.
talents
And
alive.
that's where I remember my
And put some
footing
fire
in
in certain
and my
people.
real interest in being a performer, being an entertainer, being a musician comes from. And just like what you say, Kebi, when I think about, going to UE and going to Jamaica, being involved in a whole heap of different things there and getting that exposure as an artist, because like when we got to UE, a man treat we like soca superstars basically. 'Cause we have a song popping in Vimsy Carnival, we reach
Okay.
Carnival, and
Levels.
by the next year we was doing the UE Carnival song and things like that. So it was just a different experience. And I'm saying, if I could look at a young person, 16, 17, who I like the soca thing, or we jiggy, or whatever it is, or I like this energy, or I feel like I'm interested in music. If I could be an engine to help that person
Right.
accomplish their goals and set up themselves while I'm still on this journey myself, then that's better for the overall industry, that's better for soca in the country, that's
Right.
better for music, that's better for entertainment, that's better for tourism, and then it just snowballs into
Now what
all of
can
the
we
other
do?
different
Picture.
I have something to chime in with, right? The only thing is, what I realized after trying to help younger generations, sometimes a lot of people aren't necessarily grateful.
That's true. It's true.
Because they actually would have moments when they would come back and they would try to like undermine you and, do things like that. And then it leads you to also question, how careful can we be with who we help
Yeah.
progress in life?
Yeah,
Everybody deserves to. Everybody
you know.
deserves to have a better life.
Yeah.
I'm not, but
I
like
feel
you have
that.
some people do take advantage of that
Yeah.
and of
100%.
people kindness.
That's
So
the
how
reality.
do we protect ourselves as creatives from going through that drama?
Don't
that's-
overextend.
I think that's why a lot of people sometimes is get a bit apprehensive about like collaborating or
With people.
working with others. And well, from my experience in soca, sometimes it could start to feel very alienated because it's like, okay, this team or this camp over here or this grouping or this there's this collection of people over here doing the thing and these people doing everything. And what can happen sometimes, especially when you throw like things like competition and so on, the country small.
That was
As people, this is sometimes a small piece of the pie, but I don't really see things that way because like everybody could eat, in my opinion.
Everybody could eat,
I
yeah.
feel like it
Yes.
does
It's
how
almost
things do.
it's 8 billion people out here,
I was telling
and
you.
there's industries and countries that are doing things. So I don't feel like our size is this big challenge towards us doing things
It's an
or
advantage.
not collaborating. But it does leave a bad taste in your mouth when you try your best in earnest to help
bad
out
taste in
or
my
to
mouth so
or to pull it through. But like again, the values and the big picture for it. At the end of the day, even if maybe on an individual level, somebody don't really show that appreciation, at the end of the day, you still have done,
Your
right
part.
by your
Right,
value
right.
and right by what
Your
you want to do.
values.
Your
And
own
sometimes, maybe the appreciation don't come, but I believe in karma, and maybe it might swing back around to you in a positive way that somebody else is in a position to give you that same assistance or
Fair
give you
enough.
that same help sometimes. But trust me, it does leave a bad taste in your mouth, Kev. Trust me,
To add to that,
I
that
know where
that
you're coming
point.
from when you help
Like-
somebody and
Yeah, nah, fair.
Definitely, there's this taste of ungratefulness, and there's a lot of athletes I've seen with that. As you know, swimming is very small. The coach is more than a coach, especially in it's a third world country, probably say, right? So you have to be a father, and put it as a male perspective. You have to be a father. You have to be a mentor. You have to
Nutritionist.
everything,
All
right?
right.
Even out of pocket, sometimes you have to give the athletes them transportation money and stuff like that because you want them to stay in the sport. And I've seen it firsthand how when one extends themselves so much in terms of giving that support, making sure the athletes are all right, making sure you're checking up, make sure they're good holistically. And then not even a thank you or even, well, when they get where they want to go, it's like, that's it. I don't even remember you. Like, who are you again? And I've seen it. And now, me looking in now as a coach, like, I don't want to be in that similar situation. So I often ask the question, how much can I give? How much of myself can I give? Because at the end of the day, I have to take care of myself. I have to make sure that I am good, I am not song mine. And
you don't do it for the thank you, but at the same time, some sort of appreciation would it goes a long way.
It's not necessarily a thank you, but just
so
with
you don't do
actions.
it for you don't do it for
No. I'm definitely not in it for the thank yous and stuff, because
Sure.
with coaching, it's not something that's like for instant gratification. It's a long process.
I think I
Even if you're
understand what you
mentoring
mean.
anybody, it's a long process.
You can't pour if your cup empty, you know. You
Like,
can't.
the topic doesn't necessarily have to be meaning that every mentor, everybody who is helping you at the time is doing it not for the thank you either, right? Some people do things for the simple fact that they want to be able to say that they
that's
have done
fair.
it for you.
That's
Very true.
So there is
And
a
you want
kind
to reach this point if it
There
wasn't
is
for
so
me.
much
yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm
like
a
if
bit-
there's
I'm
so
a
much
bit-
different layers
Yeah.
in stuff like this here,
Yeah,
because
but-
you also have to know who to be appreciative to, and you also have to know who is using you, and you also have to know who is doing this for the right or wrong reasons. But like when it comes from the right reasons, it hurts a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes from the wrong reasons, sometimes they just catch a bit of feelings, and then they kind of
No, but I mean, to tie it in, like I feel like if, like you said, like, you know, we all have the common theme of like, and we're speaking about this because we've seen it for years, like we've all experienced these things. But I think now, as a collective, it's a responsibility for us because, you know, to be frank, you know, to be gracious with ourselves too, is like we come from a situation as a third world country where we weren't necessarily pleased to be here. You understand? We were forced to be here.
we weren't really
You
given
understand?
much opportunity.
So it's like we have always had a legacy of sort of like
Yeah, it's a very unique.
unnecessary, trivial, tribal kind of stuff going back and forth. But I think that as a group and as education continues, education revolution, like I said, is a process. So as those things continue, you know, it tunes mind, psychology, like you say, is a big thing, you know, and it's not something that we pay too much attention to. But you know, it's process. It's a process.
Curious to know, Kev, I mean, I think for everybody else also, you know, you're a very multifaceted person, multi-talented, like, you do a lot of things. You dance,
From time.
model,
Boy, wild.
you know, you're influencer, you know, you're very active in our community.
That make me cringe.
Nah, well,
Internet personality.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Okay,
Let's see
yeah.
that.
I don't know what, I mean, I don't really like the term either.
Yeah.
But
it's kinda
hearing it
weird
from you,
though.
I mean, talk about already just started way back. But I would like to know, you know, where that really comes from,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
passion or the kind of need to
Vision.
just do all of it. You know, where does that really come from for Kev?
Okay. So when I was 7, I think I came home and told my mom I want to model and dance because everybody was going in tennis, everybody was going in different activities. And I tried tennis for 1 week and I was like, I don't think I'm for sports. I was like, I tried swimming. I was like, I don't think I'm for sports. I was like, can I do dance? And can I do modeling? Now, modeling wasn't a thing back then for youths, like for young girls. And then my mom knew Ensala's mom, who had a modeling agency that had shut down. And she asked her to reopen it and train younger models. So she was like, if you can find me girls, I would reopen it. My mom went out, she found more than 10 girls, little girls who wanted to do the same thing. That's how I actually met Ensala. So we've been friends like
From since.
since then.
But
And
that's
then-
like St. Mary's days.
Yeah.
Job, boy.
And then Saturday, not Saturday, Lord, and then the the dancing came about where I started in another agency. But I met my other best friend, Rihanna, there. And then, so I met two of them separately, and then I introduced both of them to each other, and then we all did the same similar activities. So after I left that dance company, after a year, I'm now with our West Dance Company. Since then, like I was one of the first members. I'm still there to this day. So my dance teacher always reminds everybody that, because I'm still there to this day.
From there on.
But basically, I've been in the industry, I've been in commercials, I've been in performance. My first Soca Act performance was in grade 6. Yeah.
No, I remember.
For,
I remember.
for Skinny
Backstage.
Fabulous Charge Up.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my sister and them was dancing for Skinny back then, so I do remember
Yeah, so
seeing you backstage.
I've been in the industry for a long time. I've had cameras in front of me for a long time. I had a Kismet advertisement, all kind of thing. When I was like probably 9 or so, like
Kismet,
I did Digicel.
beauty shops.
I did Digicel ads when we were small. I did flow ads. Like it's just been a thing. And then when social media came about, it was a case where I love memories. I love keeping memories. Like I can't even delete pictures. I have to put them somewhere before I delete them off of my phone. Like I love memories and so on. So for me, I held so much of that there to me, and then I started posting on Instagram. And that's why I have 1 million posts on Instagram. So I started posting on Instagram, and I don't like deleting anything, because everything was there for a reason and a season, basically. When it came to dancing, same thing. I love keeping my videos. So normally when they're looking for different dance from years back, etc., everybody just come and they'll be like, Kevisha, you have that?
Come on.
I'll be like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Old career.
But that's how we started our Best Dance Company YouTube, because I wanted to put everything there, so like
So it could be
everybody
there for
had the
time.
opportunity to like get it. So like for me, I hold things like that there, because you never know what
might
would
touch.
happen, how life would change, how life would turn out, etc.
That's true.
And you would always be grateful for simple memories and simple things like that. That just translated into people watching me on the internet when Instagram started becoming popular. And then when I got a following, I was 9,000 followers on a private account. And I opened up my account, and within a week, I went up to 14K. And
then
been
just kept
growing.
growing.
My friends actually like encouraged me to start YouTube, and they would do anything with me
Yeah, I
for my
remember when you
YouTube.
started
Yeah,
doing
that's a
YouTube
system,
videos.
right?
And then there's this whole wave now of your group of friends and everybody doing like.
I be trying to pay my friends to help me with content, and they don't allow me to. Like they'd be like, "No, we enjoy this. Like it's okay. We understand that this is a growth, because at the end of the day, if we need help with something, you help us, and if we need somebody to vouch for us, you put us in." And that's why I can vouch for my group of friends, because they've been there for me when I had nothing.
True. When your friends become your team is a real special.
It's a special,
It's a
yeah.
real special thing, because
It's
like,
beautiful. Yeah.
So that's how I came about all of this. And like I love to travel regardless, so that just became a bonus
that
for
part
me.
of it, yeah, that's good.
And then I met like-minded individuals who travel and do things that I enjoyed, and then I started traveling with them. So that's Fet Travelers. So I started traveling with them, and then it became a case where I got to meet DJs, artists. I started
Different people.
networking, and
Network-
after, and then
Networking,
everything
like,
just
true.
started becoming like the
Falling into
social
place.
media made sense now. So I actually started making it make sense now. So that's how I got into
Everything
that.
comes together.
Yeah, to like see, trust me, because like I've known you for a while, and not to say I co-signing your stuff or gain you any verification, but like everything you're saying
Man, naturally.
is literally how it happened. Because
Naturally.
trust me, I remember you from time like when we had stuff in I don't know if you remember Miss John and them from
Yeah.
St. Mary's drumming and so on. Y'all always coming there doing dancing
Doing a little
and
bit
stuff
of
like
dancing.
that.
Like we always
and
have to
so on.
dance to some kind of pan, some kind of drum, some kind of everything.
And I like how you've been able to like grow on that journey while you keep it. I always say sometimes, you know, maybe you figure out what you want to do a little bit later, but I always like to see when people have that passion and then you push towards it and then you start
I
seeing
didn't
it
even think about
evolving
it
before you.
until I didn't even think about it like until I wanted, like I was in school in uni in England. I didn't think about it until I was doing accounting, and it really was not making me happy. And I was like, Mommy, I can't. Like, I had to sit down. I had to sit down and tell my mom, look, right?
Yeah.
It ain't going to work. And it took her a while to understand, but then now she fully supports it. She built me a studio. Like underneath our drive on, she built me a studio so I have space to do my
To do your
content.
creation
Follow your
and things.
passion.
That is what you
Follow your
call
passion.
support.
And that's
That
when
is
I
what you call
realized
support.
I had support. So like, that's how the whole social media thing making sense now.
Yeah.
But before, it was only because I wanted to do it for myself. I did it more so to keep my memories.
Come on.
That's great. And you see, the thing is now, in terms of like when we're discussing potential and where you could carry things and so on, I just hope you know that you're, in terms of your positioning, like I ain't putting no responsibility on you or anything, but you're now in a position where you're going to have that sort of inspiration on other people. Not just like your peers in terms of the people and them who you might, start to work with and so on, but you're really going to start to have that influence on the other generation, because what you're doing is not necessarily a pathway that people
Most
in
people
our
take.
space
Right.
take,
Traditionally.
have taken, or even see as something that is a possibility. So to see it in real time almost, because I still think you could take it, you understand? Just the same way, in terms of the same direction. And
And the
you're
thing
going
is, I'm
to
literally,
have,
like, people don't think I'm literally just starting in the sense that I actually paying attention to it this year.
Yeah.
So I only started giving myself the credit. I wasn't giving myself credit. Like, I just didn't try.
you see, I want to get, into a therapy session, maybe it's the cultures, but no, man, as creatives and as people generally speaking, like, that imposter syndrome is something that you had to kind of,
It's a
you
battle going
fight
on.
it. Sometimes, it is I don't know if it's like a Caribbean thing or Vinci thing, but like, we push ourselves really hard,
Boy,
for
different
young
level.
people and these things, because it's like, that's just the context of where we live. Like, you have to, at this time is when you have to kind of
Work multiple jobs.
work to it.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Things
have to be,
for free.
you have to be in on it. So to see, you have that sort of pathway and you have that sort of option available. That is real good. And overall, we got to be able to recognize it. And, sometimes, you can't wait on other people to give you flowers,
And
Look back at your journey and,
you know what's beautiful
clap for
about
yourself a
all
little
of
bit.
this, about like doing all of this, is the fact that every country I've been to this year, somebody has recognized me.
I have to tell you.
That's
You're out there.
Down to Bermuda.
That's very
like you know how good that feels?
Yeah.
And the thing is, what I think will actually happen, or I do see happening, is that the potential now that people are seeing in terms of what you can do with social media is there now, but that should usher in a sort of spirit to actually have more things going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that people don't realize with social media. I mean, this is from
It's
my
a kind of
artist
stepping
experience.
stone too.
It is. And it still is a window into life itself. So as much as people might see content being created and so on, for people that are not just doing content or doing that, you are existing while showing a lot of your life and a lot of your stuff on the socials. So you're actually doing a lot more things than you might
Do on a regular.
or you might do on a regular basis. So that's going to take a little bit out here. So, sometimes look back at what you do and say, yeah, man.
Listen,
big up
if somebody
yourself.
asks me if I
Take
I
her to
just
clubs.
came home from Bermuda a few days ago, somebody was like, Kevisha, I have not seen you rest since. I've been filming content and doing stuff since I've been back.
Before coming in.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
while
I do
doing
enjoy
though.
it. I do help my friends on them too. So down to last night, we had a whole content night. So like we were filming. I didn't have to do much other than like help out with directing and so on. But like we had a whole content night, and because it's a team, like all the load is not on one person.
Right.
So like sometimes I'll be like, okay, well you edit this, and then I would edit this, and then you would edit this, and then just like that 3 videos
Together.
probably out
Rapid,
already,
fast.
and like then we have more things to do.
Yeah.
But like people who understand that kind of mindset, there is what I need around me right now.
Yeah, and that's the
And not
way
to
we
get
could-
frustrated.
That's the way we could shift things, generally speaking, because like it has so many different avenues that we have here that represent, huge potential. It's just to get the activity going, get that collaboration going, and Basi, I really commend y'all in terms of, conversation starters. A lot of people think that conversations are, it's just talk, but the world revolves around communication and conversation.
100%.
I just tell people that's why networking and those things are so important. Literally everything happens because people talk to one another.
Yes.
We are social creatures. Nothing in this world is going. From the biggest deal to the smallest little thing that's going to happen, somebody needs to talk to somebody to make it
From
happen.
the time one person recognizes you, you don't know how important that is for your name or your brand or you as a person to just be like they could see you again somewhere else and tell somebody, yo, this person is a very cool person and this person does this and that and this
First
person
impression
reach out.
comes.
First impression.
It's very important.
Yeah.
The music thing, I'm not really like soca person. I don't carnival and all them stuff.
That's
I don't go, right? But I just hear on the radio. And when I tell you, the thing them so raw. We want everybody individual. In episode of Good Man to come up with their own style. But the way the songs are now, it's just so raw. Why you want to put it inside me? That is so raw.
Yeah, it is.
So like, okay, like your style. I like your style of music. I don't really listen to soca, but you see, it's clean and it's groovy and stuff like that. But everybody now, not everybody. A lot of people are shifting to this just raw, dirty thing. Before it was like an indie one or something, but now it's just like straight to the point. So with the new artists coming up, how you feel about this new style of music? Tell me.
That's a very interesting question. Thank you for that question. I'm doing that thing where you process it for a while because I'm really gonna choose my words. Music is a representation of feeling, and music is what we use to decorate space and time. Like when you go and listen to songs, you should be able to tell how the people that like this song felt or what they were doing, or whether it's because music is a culture, right? It's what we do. I do think, generally speaking, there is no bigger appetite in the context of soca for raunchier, lyricism. And, a lot of it boils down to, at the end of the day, there will always be different types of expression.
Subjective.
And it's subjective, so I give people creative license. So I think what we're talking about is an issue of censorship, programming, broadcasting, and so on. But there will always be time and places for different things.
But you see, when you have a 6-year-old nephew coming home to sing them kind of song, they're like, where you hear
And
them
that's
from?
and what you're talking
Fair
about
enough
isn't in terms of the actual lyrics or the music. What
They're
you're
just
talking about
catching
is
it.
an issue of a child hearing something that is not appropriate for a child.
And the song is
So
on
what
the
that
radio.
question is about is really
Is it
about
broadcast?
censorship,
Yeah.
broadcasting, time and place,
Yeah,
positioning,
time and
and this
place
and that.
for
I
sure.
do agree that artists have a responsibility to, recognize that you have an influence on the different people and so on. But at the end of the day, we're social creatures. Culture is what you do. So how you do it will always be there. So it's up to us to manage
I
and
don't like the shift at all.
and
It's
put
just-
that.
It's just,
You
it's just too much.
I'm giving you a very politically correct
I
answer.
realize.
You
I
understand?
realize. Thank you for your
As a defined developing country, the only way to go is up. You understand? There will be contests, contests, there will be competition, there will be different things. But once we all recognize that the only way to go is forward and up, I think that mentality is what will spiral a next generation of success for us and greatness.
Oh, trust me.
Understand? So big up each and every one of you. For sure, it's been a pleasure having you.
Generally speaking, through conversations, through collaboration, through doing work and being involved, I'm at the age where I've seen this happen, and like I said, I feel responsible for being a part of whatever positive changes we're going to have. But generally speaking, I know other young people, 20-something, early 30s and so forth, what you define as youth, we have been feeling that sort of, maybe even people older than that would see there's just a positive feeling surrounding
100%.
what we can do, the potential that we have,
Yeah.
the abilities that we have here, and where we could take it. And I feel like there's generally a commitment among persons to say, let's get involved,
Yeah.
let's make things happen, let's push things forward, let's, change the landscape, a couple of the things. So I really like that I'm looking around in professional spaces, not so professional spaces,
Right.
and I'm looking around in music, I'm looking around in sports, and I'm just seeing a lot of different young
Progress.
people becoming involved, involving themselves in positive changes and progress, and it makes me feel good, and it also makes me feel like, okay, generally speaking, we could do this, and we on a part where maybe when we have kids, as they're talking about the birthday right now, perhaps it's going to be a different experience for them, to actually grow up in St. Vincent. And that is good. Like, that's what it's supposed to be about.
Because they're trying to make the environment, like we say, environment is key.
Yeah.
Once we make the environment, have an active hand in making the environment more conducive to change and progress.
True.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, man.
Sky's
Start the
limit.
conversations, change the narrative surrounding it, and you can see some differences. Trust me. But we at the age where we
Active.
We are the age.
active.
Active.
Thank you for the orange juice.
Thanks. Comment done now.
Love.
Everybody,
And
thank you.
respect.
I
just feel.
All right.
Big up yourself.
Man,
Not even
can't no big zap up.
Big up yourself.
No, this was fun.
My actual songs for Carnival in
Out.
Out. No, I couldn't drop any of this house because I dropped this What If video, which was supposed to be like, okay, an invitation to Carnival and stuff. And people wanted that as a song, so I had to go and turn it into a song.
And giving the people what they want.
Yeah, well, that's how it turned out.
Like, I think the idea of having more
Central.
podcasts inside on St. Vincent is actually brilliant, because not only are we sharing our ideas, but like it opens up a wider view for people outside to realize that we are doing things here in St. Vincent.
And we get to learn from each other too, and I think that's just really what this is all about. So, yeah.
Oh, back over to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love talking.